One of my clients asked me to respond to one of her posts, and I thought I'd just record it instead of actually text it. So here you go, Sherry. You asked, what do you think about doing the work to actually look into where you're really at? I call that your current reality, and I think acknowledging your current reality is so important because it gives you the opportunity to contrast that in ratio to where you actually want to be. What is your desired goal? Where do you want to go? And if you think about this, it's so important that, most people set these goals. They say they want something. I want to become thinner. I want to be healthy. I want to make more money. I want a better relationship. But they lack one thing. They don't acknowledge the reality of where they're standing now, and that they are the dominant force in their life. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the stuff that is happening to us, as if there is such a thing, things happening to us, the things that we are dealing with in life are all a product of the choices that we have made. I believe taking 100% responsibility for where you're at right now is crucial. I can already hear the conviction coming at me now. What about something that happened to me that I had no control over? Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that your physical body is you? Or are you another part? Do you think because someone slaps me in the face that they actually slapped me? Or is there actually a barrier between your soul, your mind of who you really are, and the physical body? I have a friend of mine. He's wheelchair bound, and he was born that way, but the reality of it is that he had no choice in that. He can be a victim, or he can say, this isn't me. Me is the thoughts that I have. Me is the dreams that I have. Me is the desires. We get to choose our desires. That's the power we have. If he sits there and says, oh, I want to be one of the best Mount Everest climbers and climb to the top of Mount Everest, but he doesn't have those legs, he's setting himself up for failure. His circumstances haven't set himself up for failure. His desire to do something that is not within his means is setting him up for failure. However, if he says, I want to be the best wheelchair athlete that I can be, and then he does that, and by the way, he's a 21-time world record holder, Olympic bronze medalist, because he set his sights on something he could do. How many of you have seen this professional speaker who has become a professional speaker due to his circumstances? His name is Nick. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. It starts with a K, and it's a bunch of other trippy letters. So here's the deal. Nick has no arms. He has no legs whatsoever. And this man, has become a phenomenal inspiration and hope and place of guidance and support for millions of people across America because of his circumstances, because he was a victim of a genetic alteration and some other thing. It's amazing that we can be the victim or we can be the victor. We can be victorious. So I was intending to respond to this post in quite a simple way, but what has actually happened here instead is I've gone into the point of taking 100% responsibility for everything. The victim, okay, and I've been the victim before because I decided to be. And granted, there was a time when I was a child when I didn't have as much of a choice with my mind and my thoughts, and that's probably the place where maybe you can truly be a victim. And I have more to think and consider on that. Things happened to me as a child. They happened to me, at least in my mind. There's some stuff that I don't care to put out there on the internet right now. Many different things have happened to different people. But here I am walking in this day, enjoying my life. I'm actually, if you haven't noticed, been walking in circles. My son is in a dentist appointment. I could be sitting there just waiting and playing Candy Crush or some other game, which I do not have on my phone for an intentional reason. Or I could be thinking about what matters to me and what kind of reality do I want to create. If you go for what you believe in, even if you fall short, you have actually achieved the dream and the goal, because it's not about the destination. It's about the pursuit. It's about the journey. It's about moving towards happiness. It's not about always having happy. There's no promise, even in the scriptures, that you're going to be happy all the time. As a matter of fact, I think the people that have had the most joy in life are those who have suffered the most tragedy. I know it's true for me. There's no happy without sadness. There's no joy without war and suffering. I believe freedom is found in the middle of suffering. It's when the mind decides that it is free. It's when you decide that you are free that freedom comes. Ask Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust victim who was being tortured and all kinds of experiments being done on his body, poking and prodding at his genitals. When he was on that table, hopeless and helpless, starved, on the brink of death, yet he declared, "They can do nothing to me, for I am free." Ask him about these things, where we can see that freedom truly comes in the time of adversity. It comes in the time of our suffering. Are you a victim or are you victorious? That's a question of yourself, and that's a question where each person has to decide, is this happening to me, or am I going to act upon it? Adversity becomes our greatest advantage when we decide that we are going to choose that. You see, whether you have humble means or greatness, it's all a matter of perspective. It's a part of your mind where you get to decide. You get to decide what happens next. You get to decide if you're going to step up. You get to decide if you're going to lay down. Each of us has that choice to make in our life. So I choose this day to act upon the things that matter most to me.